No, this is a workshop. There is no need to call the roll. I will note on the record who is present once I do the minutes for these workshops.
God our Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy towards us. We thank you for all your blessings that you've bestowed upon our lives. Father, we ask now that you bless us. You give us your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding. Continue to bless this great city, its residents, and everyone that has a part of it. All these things we ask in your Son's name, I pray. Amen.
Discussion on the mayor and city council calendar for 2022 events. And this is sponsored by Councilwoman Shannon Campbell.
Councilwoman Campbell.
Yep. First of all, I want to thank all of you for attending. I appreciate that. And I thank all of you that are here with us, our charter leaders. Thank you. Mic check, mic check. Y'all hear me? All right. I need to say that again?
No.
Okay. I wanted us to, we're in a new year, of course, it's 2022, and we all get emails, phone calls, all that good stuff from our residents because of the events that we're doing, and it's some of them we can collaborate on, and even when we do our individual events, we are not communicating because of the rules. So I wanted us to come together because as we look at some of the things that are already coming about, and I'm just going to throw February 26th out there, as I saw the In the Know report from the city manager, I see like 3 of us are doing events on that same day. So that's what I would like for us to try to avoid. If we can come up with an instrument or something to share what we're doing without us getting in trouble with the communication piece, and try to build a calendar so that whoever's going to man the calendar, whether it's the clerk's office or whomever, can kind of say, oh, okay, you're doing something at 9 o'clock on February 26th. Councilman Stevens is also planning something at 9 o'clock on February 26th. So they can kind of let us know, so we can kind of work it out and say, oh, okay, well then I'll push my time back to 12 o'clock that day and move forward. So I just want us to have a conversation and take it from there. Share our thoughts and input.
Anybody got any ideas or recommendations? Go ahead, Mr. Stevens. You look like you were about to say something. You ready, James? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think that that would be helpful is that there was some kind of master calendar that allowed us to be able to see what is coming, so that, because there are some days that I know I schedule events, but they're arbitrary. They are not made with any concept of what else might be going on in the city. And probably if I saw that there was a conflict, I would look at an alternate date. So, but there is no mechanism where no master calendar that I am privy to that lets me know what's coming up or what's on the calendar.
Mr. Clerk, do we have a master calendar of events? Or
So within the clerk's office, every month, the legislative analysts supply me with a list of community events and meetings that the council is hosting. What we do monthly on the first of every month is we post that on our notice board over there in the lobby so that we can meet statutory requirements for posting meetings, because I do know sometimes there may be more than one council member at these events. There may be some discussion there, so to kind of just have us covered. If the council does let us know in advance of the events that they're doing, I can submit a report monthly or provide a report monthly to the council on all the events that's already been scheduled, if that's what the council's asking.
So is it the events that have already been canceled that's the issues, or is it those pop-up events that take place? It's the pop-up event. No, go ahead.
In my opinion, it's just my opinion, it's both. Because we do have some pop-ups that we each do, and we're just not aware, and it conflicts sometimes. But then we do have those that are in advance. Now, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I've already pretty much got my calendar booked for the year. What I know I'm going to do is done. You know, but in the same token, I want to collaborate with you guys. We can do some of those together as a city. That's number one. And then number two, I don't want to bump or, you know, have a conflict because I'm out there. I try to go to your events as well. So I don't want to have to be doing an event and trying to get my colleagues' event as well. So I think it's a little of both. And then I know we're not going to always, it's going to be conflict. It is, because we're not going to always, everything is not perfect. Trust and believe, I understand that. But if we can avoid it at all costs on the front end with the master calendar, like Ms. Wilson said, that would help greatly. So for instance, if I know already what my events are, it's out there. They already know. So I don't know, we can send a calendar alert so that you guys can know and say, oh, these are the dates that Councilwoman in times that she's already got something booked. And then we could take it from there. And the same for you guys. Whatever you already have planned, because I'm pretty sure you're going to like the Juneteenth and some of your pink events that you already know you're going to do in advance. If you have an idea, you know, we know nothing is set in stone. And then we have to adjust. We have to be flexible. And I'm one that is flexible. So nothing, just so we can have a blueprint, if you will, a master calendar, as Ms. Wilson has shared with us. I think that'd be helpful to avoid that. And then it also divides the community, because that was one of the concerns I got from the residents, because they want to go to all of us and attend our events. But when we're doing things at the same time or throughout the day, it's kind of difficult for the residents. And it does look like we're dividing the community, and when we're not. And I know that's not what our intent is, but that's why I want to make sure we're clear to the residents on that. And so it's a little of both. That's just my opinion.
All right, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Mr. Stevens.
I have two questions that I need clarity on. Are we? Well, one of them is a statement rather. I get the idea of the master calendar, and being able to look at the calendar in advance and determine whether or not if we're going to continue to use that date. The challenge that we're experiencing, because like you, Councilwoman Campbell, the calendar for seat 6 has already been created. It was created back at the end of 2020. What we in 21. It was created, and I've laid out for the first half of the year. However, because it is a 7-member council, there's just not enough days in the calendar or weekends that we can say we're only going to have 1 or 2 events because the council member has already secured that date, if that make any sense. So if Councilwoman Ighodaro has an event on a Saturday in February 26th, and the only date that works for me to host my event on that day, as far as my availability as an individual, is February 26th as well. That's the challenge that we're going to continue to experience. So that's my only concern. I'm all about supporting on seasonal events and coming together as far as book bag giveaways and turkey giveaways and things of that nature. But I do want us to be aware that because it's a 7-member council, and it's not enough weekends in a month where you can say because somebody already has something going on that time that we can't have something else going on.
Is that what we're saying?
No, I want to respond to that, because I don't, that's not the intent.
Right, and that's why I
Trust and
asked for
believe.
clarity. So
That's-
I don't. So
that's
to your
not
point,
my intent. My intent is this: those things that we can share with amongst each other in some format, whether it's on this master calendar or whatever format is going to be. Who knows? We can probably collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
And then in some instances, flexibility. If you know, say, like you say, if you're doing a backpack giveaway at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and then I was going to do a swim meeting at 10 o'clock on the same Saturday, I could say, hey, let me push my meeting back, and let me come over to your backpack, and then I could do that later, or even choose a different date. So by all means, it's not the intent. I don't want the message to be misconstrued here, because I'm about positive forward progress. And I think we just need to not change everything, and it's not going to be perfect. Trust and believe, it's not. But if we can, at some point, hopefully today, at least come to a means to share what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we will know, like, who's doing what.
Sure. No, absolutely. I agree with that.
I do too. I just don't know how.
I-
I
I-
agree with it from the standpoint that there are certain things that I know when I've collaborated with my colleagues, it's a very positive thing. But I also know that because many of us work, it's tougher to mobilize the workforce behind the item because of the time that it takes for our offices, as well as for us as people with other responsibilities to come together to the table. So which can sometimes add additional constraints and pressures on getting things done. So I do think, though, that probably the better, one of the great ways to start this is just by having a public calendar that we can see. So that as council people, we can judge whether or not we want to put an event on at that time, or whether or not we'd like to sunshine with someone and collaborate and stuff like that. I think that just the information would help us all to make different kinds of decisions, as opposed to just doing it in a blind. But you don't see it.
Oh,
Do you see it? No, the question I'm asking is, where is it public for the council to see whether you're putting something on it or not? Like, say, for example, if I wanted to look at May, what's going on? Who's calendared anything? I don't know. I really don't know what's going on in February. Don't know what's going on in March, outside of those things that may be city. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
so,
I don't-
so hold on one second. So can we agree to all of us getting our events together, presenting them to our legislative aides, our aides, then I guess give it to you, Mario. You put together a calendar, and one thing I think we have to do is listen to our aides as well, because they can communicate between each other.
Right.
So they can be talking to one another and letting each other know that, hey, our council person has this event on this date and this
Right.
date. And if they can, if they need it moved, they come to you and ask you guys, can we either move it for another day or do it a different time?
Or collaborate.
Or collaborate.
All the above.
Yeah, or collaborate. But we have to be,
Right.
we have to be in a position where we're gonna accept that now from our aides.
I think that need to be real clear. Yeah, because that is simply an option.
That's it.
Like, you can't look at somebody's thing and say, well, I'm having something, so you can't. Or
No, no,
there are
no.
three
No,
things-
No,
that's not.
No, Trina just want to be clear now.
No.
I hear you, but that's not what I'm saying. Mario, go ahead, Mario.
Oh, no, I was just saying hi to Trina.
Mr. Mayor,
No,
if you,
I think that we-
yeah.
But I do
because of sunshine, we can't just come together and we're not gonna have
It ain't enough time in the
sunshine
world.
meetings all the time.
No,
to
sir.
discuss no events.
Right.
So if we can, we gotta allow our staff to sometimes do this work for us. So if we can allow them the opportunity to communicate with each other, when they look at that master list and see that list, if there's some kind of is there some kind of issue on that list?
Yeah.
Then they can talk amongst each other and bring that information back to us too. Mr. Clerk, you wanted to chime in on this?
All I can say is if the council does give me their schedule in advance, or the calendar events that they have that they know, like we know we have some standing meetings with some of your town hall meetings and your quarterly meetings, but if you guys are talking about events and you're in the pre-planning stages, if you share that with me, then I can create a master calendar that'll be shared amongst all the council members and the legislative analysts. And what the mayor said is correct. The legislative analysts can collaborate, but I just want to be careful, and the city attorney can correct me if I'm wrong. When it comes to collaborating for an event, you do have to do this out in the public.
Right, essentially,
So
yeah.
we can't do it behind closed doors. So I just want to make sure we was clear on that.
Absolutely. One more point of clarity. Is it possible when we send the emails or our legislative analysts come to you, Mr. Clerk, with the event that we're planning to do, the information, the dates, times, location, is it possible, just as you create that calendar on your wall so you guys know what's going on, is it possible to send that to us so we'll know what's going on at that moment? That can be the master calendar.
So if I'm hearing what you're saying, you want me to send you a calendar prompt of the members' events?
I mean, if that's what is it a calendar prompt or is it the master calendar?
See, so there's two things I can do. I can give you a PDF document via email that'll have listing by month, however you want to see. If you want to see a list, if you want to see a grid with a calendar, and it'll show you what events is coming on, what meetings are coming on that day. I can do that part. The other option is if you want me to put it on your actual city calendar, so that when you're mobile or in your office and you just look at your calendar to see what's going on, it'll be readily accessible for you there too as well.
Why don't we, like I said, I like the in the know report that the city manager does. He has a list on what's coming up, because that's where I learn what's going on with my colleagues, to be honest with you, because I have no idea. But when I get his in the know report, I say, oh, okay, this was doing, okay, so this was doing, and that lets me know, okay, don't, pump your brakes, don't do nothing on these days, and, take it that way. Is it, can you do something of the same like? So when we send you what we're doing, you can do like a in the know, this is what's going on, which something, just some quick and boom, boom, boom with dates, times, and that way we know what each other's doing off the rip. Is that doable? I mean, my colleagues, what do you guys think?
Well, I'm thinking more of a open Excel sheet or something like that, a link we can go to, and that way, if you deciding that you're planning something and you're in a meeting, you can click on this link and you can see, well, if I'm planning something February 23rd, you already see that on February 23rd, there's multiple events. So something that he wouldn't have to send out, but maybe a link that we can go to, and you can work from there.
I like it.
And that way you can plan better.
So following up on what Councilman says, we can set up a Teams page using Microsoft, or we can utilize SharePoint and put that in there. And from there, everybody have access to it. So it'll be up to council members to look on there to see what's on there. We can set it to where the legislative analyst, instead of sending it to me, they could put it there too, and it'll be live updates as we go. But at the end of the day, it will be up to the council members to make sure the analysts are knowing what the events are and that they put it on there.
And I just want to put emphasis on, it would be our individual offices' responsibility to check this information when it comes down to planning, and not necessarily Mario's responsibility to say, hey, councilman or councilwoman, that so-and-so is having something on that day. I just want to put emphasis on that. It's our responsibility, our office's responsibility to make sure that that happens. That's what I would like to say.
Mario, you want that said again, don't you?
I would really appreciate that, because one thing, no, I'm gonna be honest. The one thing I don't want to do is manage and be the one to say, well, you can't do this, because I don't want no parts of it.
That's understandable.
All I'm gonna be with this is a transparent clerk to you guys, give you guys a tool so that you guys can put that on there.
Okay, so
Is that doable?
let's be really clear now. Let's be really clear about, you don't tell people what they can and cannot do.
Absolutely.
Let's be real clear, right?
Yeah,
That's what we're saying,
we
right?
good. We good.
Okay, Trina just wanted to know.
Yeah, but when we go to that link, you're able to
Yeah.
see what this person's doing. We're able to look at the resources that the city has to offer and the resources that you might need.
And I'm glad you brought that up because we have to look at it. When we having 5 and 6 events, we stretching the resources of
Yeah.
our city really, really
Yeah.
thin. So let's keep that in mind when we planning out our events and doing this. So how are we gonna go about doing it?
And
You
I
good with
think
the
he
link?
answered the question. He gave us the solution.
I'll go ahead and work with Lashar and Onika on how we're gonna do it, whether we use Teams or SharePoint. Once we set that up, we'll get with the analysts on it, and then I'll schedule one-on-one meetings with each council members to go over how to utilize whichever module we decide to use, or how you can see events and how you can add events to it.
Everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah, I think that's a
Sound-
cool
yeah.
way.
Yeah,
That's a
I don't
good-
think
yeah.
that, I think that's fine.
That's what we do at Brown. We solve
Yeah, that's,
solutions.
At
problems.
Brownlee,
We do
At
it at the
Brown,
school.
at
We
Brown.
use
What's
SharePoint.
Brown?
Teams
yeah, we
too.
use SharePoint and Team at the university
Change
as well.
the company name.
What can
So
Brown
we all
do
in
for you?
agreement with that?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I'm open to collaborating with any of my colleagues. I just want to state that. I'm
Okay.
open to collaborating, in review with one. Okay?
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So Mario, that's your marching orders, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We need a motion or we?
No, I don't think we don't
Don't
need to
need a
do any
motion.
motions or anything on that.
You don't need a motion. There's no motion.
It's just a
If it's a
workshop.
consensus of the days that this meeting's over, I'll go ahead and note that this meeting